I'll get back to work. Human beings. Yeah, I know we have to correct the technology. I understand I'm the vocal point. That's why I pick up this phone and talk. It's a word. It's not. When you have these things like when you look at the stuff with the robots going on. The only reason that the wealthy are inventing robots is not to keep you safe, but to keep them safe from you. And because they're not doing things correctly. And when you're not doing things correctly, people are unsafe, right? And so it's just common sense. And when people, it's bizarre when you have warfare and fighting. There's no common sense or reason, and so there's no honor. Okay, when people start fighting, it's because all honor has broken down, and an honorable person is at their wits' end. Like my dad used to say, fighting's ignorant, and if you're fighting to impress anybody, you're just impressing the ignorant, and that's not impressing the ignorant. It's stupid, right? Fighting is an intelligent man's last resort. Okay, but you have to try to talk them into, hey, I'm like Jesus. Hey, let's lift the Lord's Prayer. Right. What the Romans did with the treacherous Hebrews in Jesus's time was worse than what happened to David. David, they stood up and said, hey, and David had the opportunity to attempt to stop their barbarianism by standing his ground. Jesus didn't have an opportunity to do that. They had so many barbarians. I mean, the whole world was covered in barbarians that would fight and kill over money rather than live the Lord's Prayer. And he had no way of keeping everybody safe from mass murder. So he had to get up and stand for the perfection of a perfect man. You have this man who's like King David and can protect, can get up and kill thousands compared to what one of them can try to do to him. But it's not going to do any good. Okay. It's not going to do any good. Killing off barbarians that are willing to murder because if they can't, live free or die, if I can't fight for what I want and kill over what I want, I'd rather die. It's like, is that why you guys all think you have to build robots? And so when you watch that thing with that stuff in China, those kids with the robots and stuff like that, when they're teaching the thing to do that, the way those robots can be made, that you go in and try to stop it. It knows all the right moves, can move just good and anticipate, and it has ways to, and it can have a thing to anticipate what you're going to do before you're going to do it, because it has sensors and things and stuff like that. So it can kill those children that it's mimicking quite easy. All right? Do you understand? The extrasensory equipment and stuff you can put into technology to, like I told you, the stuff with AWACS, they can have a thing that does a monitoring on the heart rate and the brain activity of a mouse hiding under your fridge in the AWACS, right? And so I can't anticipate what you're going to, by your brain activity and your movement and stuff. So when you can invent a robot that says, I'm going to fight and kill you, and then you have to say, okay, well, I'm just going to try to die fighting, and it's going to kill you. Okay. Mister, you just brought a knife to a gunfight, right? And you're going to fight this robot. Well, I'd rather die fighting than, be a slave. Well, teach the robot to be like Jesus. And then the robot won't come in and kill you if the rich people can't have their way with you. Okay. That's what you're going to have to do. And if I have to do it all by myself, okay, Yeah, some say it's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book, So, and I keep telling people this, if this is what, I have one of the most amazing life stories of all time. I was studied by people that were jealous of me, manipulated my whole life, got through it really kindly and in an amazing way. You feel, a lot of times you feel, uh, like in acting, Can we do that again? I think I could have done it better here. I was in bad light, and I think I could put a little bit more growl into it, right? So you a lot of times you feel inadequate because you're like, well, I could have done this better. I could have done that, and then you realize, no, right? No, I couldn't have done anything any really better at all. Like me and May Smith had that talk, about the toolbox. She goes, Earl, you show up with what tools that you got, and if all you got is a screwdriver and a hammer, that's the best you're going to be able to do. If you had power tools, you'd be able to, later on in life, you get to the point where you've got more power tools in your toolbox than just a hammer and a screwdriver. But when you're at the hammer and the screwdriver thing, that's all you've got. Right? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So she goes, you can only do the job as well as your toolbox has the tools to do it. And as you get older and you get more experience, you get more tools in your toolbox. And so I was like, okay. Yeah, she was a good kid, good old May Smith. And so it's when she talked to my mom, I went and talked to my mom. That boy of yours is special, Marianne. He's special. And then when mom talked to me, do you think you're going to be the Living Egg Master? No, I don't. Because I don't think the Living Egg Master I think the Living Egg Master is the head of a cult for money. And I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. So no, I don't think I'm going to be the living egg. Lots of boys think they're going to be a living egg master. I don't want to be the head of the cult. I just want to go home and live free from cults. Not cults with an O, but with a U, right? You. Oh, you, right. Cults are cute. Yeah, just don't run behind them. If they're like obliged, man, they'll kick you right in the gut if you get too close. Right? They'll jump back and kick you. That whole Baltimore Colts logo, if it kick it, yeah, they do that. They will get you. Oblige got me right in the gut. I was running behind him in the pen because he was so pretty. I was chasing him. I was a little kid. I was like 6. And he did it on purpose. Dad told me that too. You can't, no, Earl, you can't do that. They get, they're very, And he reached back and wham, he kicked me right in the gut. Pow! I was running too close to him. I was trying to touch him. I was running behind him. I was reaching out, trying to touch him. And he reached out and he kicked me right in the gut. It hurt. I was like, God dang. Yeah. He kicked me hard. I was like sitting there, And so, yeah, just to let me know, hey, don't run up on me. But yes, I just want to touch you. You're so pretty. Yeah, it hurt. That was not a fun day. I mean, it was different than when I got the wind kicked out of me. When they had me stand there and be tackled by the big kid in football practice in 6th grade. That was a little different. I couldn't breathe. He kicked me in the gut. It's like, somebody just a body punch when you're boxing. Pow! Shit! And it's a horse. And it was a colt, and I was like 5 or 6 years old. So that's like, if a horse kicks you in the gut, shit, that hurts. Because I was a little guy, and so yeah, it hurt. Did not knock the wind out of me, but boy, it hurt like son of a bitch. Yeah, it hurt. You don't remember the pain. I remember not being able to breathe and the kind of panic when I got the wind knocked out of me for the first time. But you don't remember the pain, and you remember okay, this is not a good feeling. But that's the nice thing about like Barbra Streisand's The Way We Were. It's a laughter we'll remember whenever we remember the way we were. The pain, you don't. It's only the good times I remember. Or what's his name again? Tommy Edwards. Whenever I think of you. They do things a lot of times to remind me of the hell that my ex-wives put me through. It was more of a hell with my second wife than my first. My first never gave you any real hope that there was going to be a relationship that we could keep and sustain and build. You know, after the I'm going to kill myself and I hate you and over and over and over again, and no affection, no sex, and it's just like, I don't like you too much either. So let's call it a day. let's work this out with our son and just call it a day. And so it wasn't very hard, you know. Where Amy would go out and, you know, I'm only Shelley's winter love. She only seems to need me. She'd go out and look for better, fuck around. They'd get her pregnant, kick her to the curb, and then I had to put her back together again because of the kiddos. And so that was really hard. Well, because with me and Patrick, you know, when Stephanie left, she just came in and made our life miserable, lying to the courts and taking all our money and having us live in the projects and just having to scrape to survive. That was horrible. And with Amy, it was probably just as bad because, you know, you're sitting there and you think, okay, I love my wife. I love the kids. She's learned her lesson. We've been pre-disastered. This is, you know, kind of like World According to Garp. And okay. And then bam, she goes right back into it again. And then she'd say, you're always living in the past. That's because you fucking repeat it every 6 months, whether we need to or not. Shit. Well, in their defense in this hell, I have no ambition to be rich and or famous. You know, dreaming casually. Do you want to be rich or famous? Who could blame us? Can't be me, Lord, growing old so gracefully. I thought me and Amy could do that right at first. And then after a while, I was like, no, she's just not going to let it happen. She's too self-destructive and too, you know, I'm going to go party. I'm going to go get drunk. I'm going to go do this. And Steffi did a lot of the same things. I was like, no, let's eat salads. Let's do yoga and Tai Chi together and then break out the Kama Sutra, you know? That's me, right? So, hey, if we're going to do something fun and creative and something like that, let's do yoga for flexibility, some Tai Chi for better, you know, health, and then get the Kama Sutra, and we'll try some stuff that's not too wacky and freaky. Okay, sounds like fun to me. Yeah, okay. So that's more my idea of fun if we're going to do any of that chick kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm done with that. I can do that shit. You know, but like when I ask Law, you know, the Cosmopolitan magazine thing, you know, you ask them what their fantasies are. She just have sex with two guys. Well, that sure ain't gonna fucking happen. Okay. No. Okay. No, we're not gonna have sex with. And then some women will, you know, bring in a girl I like to have sex with you. No, I don't want that either. They make you think you do because other guys are jerks. And, you know, she deserves not to be a jerk. And I'm like, yeah, I understand King David, Muhammad, yada, yada. But this is the 21st century. And actually, it's worse now than it was then. Yeah, technically, yes, it is. Well, because, you know, the truth is in plain view and they avoid it like cancer. And everybody's terrified of the virtual presence of the scientific community that can program like you like a video game to do something. I caught you with your back. Mr. Hadley was behaving badly. And, you know, and then they can get away with it. And Rockefeller explained that to me. I said that a lot when I first started posting, you know. The Patriot Act, he gave you guys like you guys are like Airman Sherry Long. When she got the checkbook at the account and was overdrawn by $2,000 her first week because she thought she could just write checks. No, that's not how it works. You got to know how much money you have in your account, then write the checks to cover, you know, and then they will draw it out of the bank, but you have to have it in the bank. No, you can't just. And she went out because she got a checking account. She got all excited, went and bought a bunch of toys and gifts for her nieces and nephews in Florida. She wasn't being a horrible person. She just didn't get the concept. Is what it was. She got a checking account. She go, oh my gosh, I got a job. I got checking account. And she thought she could write them and then just pay it off. And, you know, she didn't know how it worked. And she got kicked out of the service with the general and the thing because we were trying to shut her up. Sherry. So, shh. Well, see, General over there, that's daddy planes, that's mama planes, that's baby planes. And he's like, this is she for real? You know, like, yeah, we're all trying to, it's okay. So I'm in long, just sit down. He's like, no. He got her kicked out immediately. He said to whoever got her in, this was, this was defrauding the government and things like this stuff. This woman is not equipped to do any of the jobs necessary that we need for the U.S. military. Her incompetence will put people's lives at risk. She will do something wrong that will cause, And he did have a point, but the thing about it is she was more sane and rational than he was. She was like Princess Jasmine out in the thing. Oh, you look hungry. Hey, you better be able to pay for that. She thinks the monkey's the sultan, right? She was a little bit more here. Kids need toys. Kids need apples and bananas. You better pay for that. Money ain't real. Okay. So in a sense, she was more sane and rational. She was just stuck in hell because of people. No more looking at losers like him. No more algebra tests till September. Right? And so it's true. It's very bad. And so, the sweeter the person and the kinder the heart, the more lost they are in this hell and they check out. Like Amy's biological mother, Janice, And then it affects my Pliam. She's a sweetie pie, and she hates living in this world because the soul that listens better than the nines knows it shouldn't be this horrible. It shouldn't be this bad. Okay. I don't think you can explain that to someone like Jennifer Lopez. I think they buy all the scientific bullshit from all the manipulators that say they're really bad people. They lose it. They get crazy. Yeah, they do. It gets hard. They don't know what to do left from right. How do you survive this hell? And then you can easily impulse them to feel self-destructive or do things that are self-destructive like they did with Amy. And it's horrible. Stephanie, oh God. She's a use. She won't kill you. She won't kill herself, but she will kill you. I know. And when Amy was being Stockholm Syndromed into the group, and she was having sex with all those assholes at Huachuca, oh, she was terrible. Okay. When she went to the bar, she was trying to be cooler, and they were all jealous and cooler than me, and he's stupid, and he'll never be any, he'll always be a loser. Yeah. Yep. I'd rather give a friend my wages than to go downtown and be someone I ain't. And if a loser's what you think I am, I guess that's all I'll ever amount to being. But I wouldn't trade the world and all its money for the changing of my name. You better remember it too. It's Ralph Earl Parsons Jr., the son of Ralph and Mary in the book of Revelation, the uncle of Mike and Gabriel, and Isaac, the eldest of his family line that will stand up eventually and not bow to the idolatry like Abraham and prophecy in the Holy Quran. Yeah. Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. If because that's why she called me Junior, because she called Dad early. And so, so Junior, for all you people who think you early. You ain't the early bird. I is. So you know what I'm saying? So, I guess to be me. And I like me. I'm very happy with me. I'm a faithful person. I'm the only person, they came up in Sierra Vista and told me all about Mark came and told me explicitly from the Bush family, sent me Mark. He kind of, in an indirect way, told me, they tried, but his own party let him down and threatened to kill his wife if they come out against what's going on and try to support what you're doing here on YouTube, is basically what Mark told me. And he shit his pants when that one woman showed up and she was contraband from the Coyotes. You broke 5 federal laws in 2 minutes. Andrew Womack's watching, and so is the Pentagon, and so is Barack Obama. I got to show him this is what Jesus would do, even better than Zorro. If a woman shows up, you break 5 federal laws, so send me to jail. Put me in jail if I fail at loving you. Right? I sat there. I went and got the woman a coat. I got her my cell phone so she could call people that she knew that were here in the United States to pick her up and keep her from being put back into sexual property in Yuma or San Diego to pick her up in Yuma. And if we could get her I tried to get her to sanctuary at a Episcopal church. I was doing everything possible. I called a pastor from Mexico. She said, "Oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to get arrested, Ralph." Okay. But you can sit there and say, I can't say fuck or shit in front of people. But when I get up and try to protect a woman from getting the shit fucked out of her for money, you want to talk about Jesus for money at your church, but you don't want to get up and do what Jesus and the apostles would do if a woman is going to get the shit fucked out of her for money. I just say that, but I was sure the fuck thinking it really pissed me off. She was always, Ralph, you can't say this shit is fucked up. You can't say that. You can't say what they're doing to the people with the union stuff is you can't say bad words about that. We don't say bad words in front of Jesus. But we let people take women from Mexico and sell them for sex because we're afraid of getting incarcerated in a federal prison. Put me in jail if I fail at loving you. Yeah, okay. Talk to me. I don't love the things you say. All of you should love the way I am. You should completely adore me. If I was making this stallion and Nicki Minaj and I watched my video, I was like, why can't other men be like him? If I was Michelle Obama, I'd be looking at Barack going. If I was Melania, I'd be looking at Donald going. I'd be looking at the man in my house going, really? You can't get up and try to stop little girls from getting raped to death for money for people's fake ass jobs so they can home invade? They only want to give us robots so they can keep themselves safe from us, so they can keep Epstein filing us and vote for it. And then you guys want to see what happened. It's like it's Game of Thrones. It's addicting, right? Is that it? I don't want to know. Because those girls went looking for careers in Hollywood as sex icons. Okay? Amy wasn't doing that. Okay? And the way it affected the girls in my family, we were just trying to get along. Why should I care when I'm just trying to get along? I just was trying to protect, my family from home invasion from people that were trying to make me look like a pervert because I wasn't doing what the religious corporations thought I should do. And the science community is like, well, he's the cause of all homophobia and all this stuff. And he's just, because I knew that when I got in Sierra Vista, they were sitting there. Oh, well, Jesus is just a puppet with this and he's a charismatic cult leader. So I know both sides were wrong and trying to blame all their sin on me and Jesus and Muhammad. And I was like, fuck. And I didn't realize how extensive it was. I didn't realize how gross it was. And I didn't realize that the people that did it are still doing it and they have no intention on stopping. And the only way it's going to stop, the fuck for the buck stops here. Me and Bigfoot going to handle it. Okay. And Boob and Steph and Haley. I don't have any portraits that I painted of young Judo or DT. Maybe I will. I saw a picture I like of DT Suzuki. Yeah, and a picture of Judo. Yeah, when he was young. Yeah, he's a handsome fellow. He's gorgeous. Oh, if I was a woman, I'd be like, born too late for you. Because I'd be like, what an amazing man. What in the case that the man is more attractive than the woman, right? Oh, if I was a woman, I wouldn't be able to, when he was young. And then when he got older, it's like, that's my man. The one who's trying to get all the rich people to stop mass murdering the poor and turning people into their domestic property. He's gorgeous. I just love him. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. He's so beautiful. Does it pay to be good? No, money's not real. It's good to be good. We all need to be good and do it without fear of rich people coming and killing us because we're getting in the way of their delusions of power and authority. I mean, G.T. Suzuki, you sit and look at him further and look at that young man, and then as he got older, how still beautiful he was. If I was a woman, I'd be like, I won't settle for anything less than him. I choose you. You're better than Aladdin. You bet your sorry little ass he is. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And then I think of that video in the bathroom, talking to the military in Sierra Vista all those years ago. You say I have no discipline. You'll kill people for a paycheck and I won't. And I have no discipline. You can't tell me that guy wasn't gorgeous enough to be able to date anybody he wanted on Entertainment Tonight. That was a good looking man. That's a gorgeous man. Oh my gosh, he's gorgeous. He's so gorgeous. I kiss myself, serious. And then, you guys just pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. You did this to my body. You and your taxpayer dollars and your egos. I didn't do this to my body. I just feel the depression of all the poor people you're mass murdering in the cities because you won't give them deliverance from evil with Dolores Burr. Well, it's because I'm gorgeous. Don't hate me because I'm gorgeous. I'm not going to sell you anything, but I'll save you from selling shit because you trapped your show in it, and it is crazy. Your brain is not God, and your brain isn't perfect. When you live the Lord's Prayer, your brain is perfect, and then God is God. I love you, all right? Peace out, man.